Hi, Zoe. Hope everything's going well. Uh, like your mom has probably told you, we're going to be talking about ancient China for the next unit. So, just like before, we're going to have some vocabulary words that we're going to be quizzed on later at a later date. The first one we're going to start with is dynasty, and this is a word that we've probably seen numerous times. If you've seen, for example, Mulan, or if you're taking into consideration a lot of ancient Chinese dynasties, this is what we're going to look at. Don't worry about what it means, what you think it means. I'm just going to go ahead and give you the definitions. So for this first one, I want you to type in the definition of dynasty. And a dynasty is a hereditary, or excuse me, the hereditary rulers of a country. So with a dynasty, it basically goes father to son, and then the cycle continues. So China has had about 13 dynasties, and we're going to be looking at 3 to 4 of the big ones when it comes to China. Now, go ahead and include an image and an example sentence. All right, our next definition is Confucianism. And with Confucianism, it is a Chinese philosophy that emphasizes proper behavior. And this is one of those main Chinese ideas that we're going to be discussing with and focusing on why people act the way that they do. Confucius is the name of the guy that it comes from, and he was known for being wise, had a lot of sayings, a lot of mannerisms, and we're going to talk about some of those. All right, our next one is Taoism, and it's another Chinese philosophy that emphasizes living in harmony with nature. Another Chinese way of thinking about protecting your environment, looking out for it, taking care of it, and it will take care of you. Taoism. All right, next one, mandate of heaven. It is the power or law that is believed to be granted by the heavens. So the mandate of heaven means that this is something that has been declared or been called upon by the gods. Therefore, you have to obey them. Mandate of heaven. Our next definition is the Silk Road. I guess what I would call it, this is kind of what this would be the Amazon of the ancient world. And by the Amazon, I'm referring to the shipping company, right? Where everybody gets all their nice goods. So the Silk Road is a of trade routes that stretch more than 4,000 miles across Asia. So this is a very important trading route that was needed in order for goods to be sent to and from different countries. We're going to talk about why that was important, why it was established, and which countries traded with China during this time. All right, legalism. Definition of legalism. It's another Chinese philosophy that emphasizes strict obedience to laws. So, in this case, if a law was written, they needed to follow it to the T, to the letter. There was no in between, there was no gray area. It was either black or white uh, in that type of philosophy. Our next one is cultural diffusion. So, cultural diffusion, you have the spreading of cultural traits such as goods from one culture to another. And because of the Silk Road, you had a lot of cultures mixing together, which is why certain foods are the way they are, is because they end up mixing very well and combining and then adding different elements from other foods. All right, next one, ancestor worship. You've seen this if you've seen the cartoon version of Mulan, where they're worshiping their ancestors, and this is the practice of honoring of ancestors through rituals such as giving food to deceased ancestors. Like I said, the best example that I can think of is when you see the cartoon version of Mulan, where they're honoring their ancestors, asking for protection and guidance. All right, our next one you have is feudalism. And feudalism is a system of government that is based on landowners and tenants. So what that means is you have essentially a landlord who controls the land that the peasants or the farmers are working on, and the landowners are the ones that are in charge of that territory. All right, and lastly, we have the Great Wall, one of China's most famous places, one of its more natural or man-made landmarks, and it is a stone wall that is approximately 1,500 miles long. That was built by the Qin dynasty to defend China's border. And those are the vocabulary words that we're going to be working on for this unit. So make sure you get those copied in. Make sure you have an example sentence for each one. Make sure you also have an image for each vocabulary word. Then once you're finished, just make sure you get that turned in. Thanks. Talk to you later.